thank our 3 selectmen for that.
There you go. All right. I think that's good.
I know.
Looks like we got everybody here.
Kitties. It's BS, and they're in East Lyme. We don't have jurisdiction there. And it was a great entertainment session for the paper. To group us once again as being the elite, don't give a damn about people. And
I don't know.
as of yesterday, it wasn't a big. I told her it had nothing to do with the budget. She's chosen not to come tonight for there's people she doesn't want to see. Yeah. Oh dear. Would you like 2 kittens?
Say what?
Would you like a couple of kittens?
No, thank you.
She was placing 3 this weekend, she said.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them looked a little daffy.
Well, she said that the one cat came in sick and got all
right. And I think some were also maybe mamas and papas and brothers and sisters.
Yeah, looked a little.
Are these the ragdoll cats from?
The Siamese cat.
Oh,
from down at Beaches.
I know. Yeah. It's all relative. It's all relative. And then some.
Oh, really? Oh, it was like pretty much all the cats at Animal
22nd, and then we don't meet again, and
that's nice.
That's good.
There was one that was sort of like, well, don't get all up in my face. Okay. But,
right. Not again until
you didn't bring any home, did you?
I did not bring
you the 8th, 15th, and the 22nd.
We ended up with like 6 cats.
Maple
My
would have loved
mother-in-law,
it
if someone has to go with her to animal control, when one animal passes away, make sure she only knows one animal, or else she'll come home with.
She needs a chaperone.
She may, literally.
Yeah.
No, I have a dog that is a cat chaser.
Okay. You what?
Just bringing home prey for the dog.
We all do.
No, me too.
Into it doesn't seem too bad, and it's like
everywhere she shouldn't be. So I'm like, okay, it's a good reminder.
so many, you know. No.
Done that.
But that's good.
All right, very good.
I told Mom they had signed cats.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
I always was partial.
You get brain worms sometimes. They go. Yeah, we had one that was 17 or 18.
Yeah,
Ours also was like. He never liked me.
He
get a little
hated,
nuts.
he hated him.
Thank God, I'm like,
18 years.
18 years of age.
Like, what are you doing in
Would you
my
like
room?
a couple more? Say hello to animal control.
Are they Chinese?
Yeah, they've got a few.
All right.
We're here to sell you cats.
If I could, I'd like to call the March 1st, 2022 meeting of the Board of Finance for the Town of Old Lyme to order at 7:04, shall we call it? And we do have some guests, and if I'm missing some who are going to address us, what I'd like to do is kind of move some folks up so we can get them out, and then we'll do our ministerial duties beyond those folks. So I've got Kathy Carter is here for registrars, right? And then we got WPCA. Do we have anybody else who's going to be addressing Roberge tonight? Mr. Roberge as well, yeah. So we can...
I'm Mark Hastings with the Rogers.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. So we'll get all of the folks who are here physically to address us up front. So why don't I have a comprehensive motion to move registrars, WPCA, Rogers Lake, and then other business up to the first order of business in that order.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Are there any opposed? Say nay. Great. Okay, registrars, if we could. So we're in general government. And Kathy, if you could join us, maybe if you guys could start to see there. Could you? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not government 50. Okay.
Next one down.
All right. So, Kathy, we have an increase here.
Next page.
from last year's budget of 66,173 to 75,223. And if you could, because I talked with you briefly about the need for that, just describe to folks what that increase is comprised of and your thought process in terms of budget.
Actually, it's a different number, right, Kathy?
Yeah, 81.
330.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Yeah, because you did circulate that.
Right.
So, Tim, what is the new number so everyone's got it?
Well, for registrar salaries, instead of 36,000 is flat. The administrative assistant, instead of 5453, it's 3,600. The person wishes to have less hours. Deputies are 3,000, same. Elections, which is personnel, goes from 9,500 to 14,550. Mileage stays the same as 0. Postage goes from 1,000 to 3,500. Explains these increases.
Stop you, because you had mileage at 0. You had mileage at 0.
0.
Okay, can I just make it be 10 so that we keep the line open in case?
Was that again?
Can we
Keep it open at 10, yeah. $10.
keep it open?
$10.
Thank you.
Okay, and advertising was $10 is 500. Dues the same 200. Contracted services goes from 1,800 to 1,850. Printing from 8,005, same 8,005. Same is true with miscellaneous, 380, 380.
That was it.
Primaries would be 3,600, goes up to 3,650. Referenda, 2 of them, which are the school ones, go from 2,800 to 5,600, double. And education training is 2,000. So that hopefully totals 8,330, subject to.
Actually, 340 with my 10.
Right.
Oh, that's correct, yeah, 340.
I'm sorry, what's the total number?
83,340.
So, Kathy, the bulk of it is for contracted services and primary. So, talk about the drivers of the increase from last year to this year.
So the drivers of the increase basically are a lot of unknowns that we have in terms of we don't know if we will have a primary in August, so we need to put in for a primary. Originally, we had budgeted around the same for the election this fall as we had last fall. However, Mary Lynn had kind of worked out those numbers and then realized that we really need to treat this governor's election in terms of turnout and regulation, action by the legislature similar to 2020. So we basically took the number that we spent for 2020 election and put it in for this year's election. Also, because in the 2020 election, there were a number of poll workers that were being paid by their employers, so they were volunteers for us. We're probably going to need the same number of poll workers because of turnout, but we're not going to have that same type thing where employers will allow them to work. 2020 was a big election. We also, with the schools, I've been told that potentially we will have whether it's referendum, we'll have one in May, as we always do, for the budget, and then one possibly in the fall for building renovations.
Which hopefully maybe gets pushed to November, so it's all one election.
Right.
Maybe not.
Right, so we're preparing for the worst, but we're certainly going to do everything that we can with all of these costs to, to bring them down. There's also the increase in, we don't have any data to really show us how many people are going to vote by absentee ballot with no excuse COVID voting. In a state election, we have the data from 2020. So, even in 2020, we way over-ordered ballots. We didn't anticipate that we'd have almost 3,000 people vote by absentee ballot, but we still have to order a ballot for them. And so that drove up, other election costs. We also have had training on hold for COVID, so we haven't put in for training for a few years, and now it's back on the mandatory table that we've got to get that going again with all of our staff. So with any luck, we may have things sorted out with the state conventions in June and not have a primary, and that would just take that number right out. If we can combine possibly the school referendum with the election in November, then that would take out that amount. But really it's up to the school. It's not up to us. They're the ones that tell us what they want to have happen. And then again, just taking that same number from the 2020 election to just be prepared in terms of expenses. We also have had LHS and the different companies that service the voting equipment have tripled their prices. Before we were paying $75 per tabulator, and I think now it's like $175 per tabulator. All these costs, we've just been getting notification in the last really 30 days that they're all doubling and tripling.
Okay. Any questions? Great. I would entertain a motion. The total is $83,340. Is that what you have, Nicole?
Yes.
Great. So I entertain a motion for $83,340 for registrar.
I'll move it.
Jude, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Russell. Any other further discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Great. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Gabby. Yep. All right, WPCA.
I'm Rich Prendergast. I'm the chairman, and Steve Tsunami is the treasurer.
So boards and commissions, guys. Boards and commissions.
Oh, yeah, so that's Mr. Solomon.
Oh, boards and commissions.
Let's see. Thank you. The water pollution?
Yes.
Yep.
Water
Okay.
pollution. That's it.
Yeah, WPCA.
202.
Okay.
All right, so Rich, what we have in front of us for budget is 88,422 is the bottom line. Is that what you have?
I have 88,100. So I'm not sure.
So WPCA clerk, what do you have for that?
The clerk, I have 2,000.
Okay, so we got 2322.
But that's based on the salary sheet, hours or meetings or cancel.
Should we keep it 2322?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, yep. Not material. All right. So, material changes, Rich, we're down 10 grand for legal counsel, and then
Yes.
we're up for project consulting.
Yeah, those are our two big things. And for our legal counsel, we have known invoices for about half that, and then we have a healthy contingency for, well, we have to use a couple different lawyers. Our own lawyer is preferred, but some events we have to use a couple lawyers, and we don't know how much they're going to talk. So we think we'll be okay with the legal counsel, but it's hard to forecast. For from the project consultant, we've moved off, we're getting approved our design part, and then we're going into construction, hopefully, and we're going after additional grant money, and so we think we needed a little bit more money on that, the project consultant. And that is a consultant for both us and there's the private beach associations have a combined project. So it's both of those. So we don't really have a good forecast on that, just from experience in the past and trying to talk to them about what we think will happen. That's where that number came from.
And historically, you've been below budget.
Yes.
A little bit, and not a lot of it, but the budget has been pretty solid in terms of where you guys have ultimately come in. You haven't come in above budget.
Right. What's kind of messed us up is we've had things not happen on time. So we're carried over. This year we don't have hardly any carryover. There's one last bill that was put in earlier this month, and when that clears, we should have $12 in carryover. So, we're trying to get more efficient on this, and, I've said in the past, we're not going to spend money unless we have to.
So feels like a good number?
To me, it feels like a good number. Steve and I were talking, we're both concerned about, there's a lot of complexity in this, and it's uncharted, so there's a possibility that something could go against us, in timing, but right now it doesn't look like we have something like that.
Okay.
So.
Rich, why don't you just amplify on some federal grant possibilities? I mean, this is a very complicated project, and the bids which came in the first time were rejected. The bids which are after, were they rejected as well the second time?
This first set of bids from the private beach associations were rejected. The second set, they adjusted it, and they got a little bit more competitive. They got more vendors, and it was still too expensive. Mainly supply disruption is what we think the problem is. So we're going after the state, where the state is giving us 25% grant on applicable charges. They have the right to do 30%. And then we're going through an earmarks for federal funding that goes through the state to get substantial amount of money. When we do that, the project consultant line item gets hit. When we have them prepare this 167-page request for money, and we discuss with how to strategize and how to do it. So we're going after those two grants to make it affordable, and we're going in partnership with the beach associations as well. Did I miss anything?
The second round of bids, has that been canceled? Or?
It's been canceled, yeah. It was not acceptable.
So 2 bids have been canceled, so nothing's on the table right now.
And for the record, the town has not gone to bid yet because we need this one IMA agreement. If I get too much, we have one IMA agreement with East Line. Agreed in principle. The lawyers are talking back and forth. Once that's done, then we get our design part published, and then we can go to bid. And we're expecting all the bids go back to bid the end of this summer coming up, maybe September. And hopefully all the bids come in and we get that grant funding, and it's a go.
And we were talking about this funding, which could be $12 million in aggregate with all the entities. Our share might be $2 million approximately.
Right.
And I guess this would get Nicole in the hot seat, because if we get a grant and we don't spend more money as a result, it would simply be a larger reimbursement. If we spend the same amount of money, would there be any requirement to go to town meeting for that? It's just more money coming in the revenue side. If we spend the same money, the $9.5 million that was originally approved, would we have to do anything if we're just increasing the grants in the way of a town meeting?
I would think you'd have to go to town meeting to accept the grant funds, right? So the selectmen would have to prove it.
Well, we could get bond counsel to help us out with that, but
yeah.
I mean,
even
this
if
is
it's a
all.
wash in and out, if it raises expenditures beyond that $9 million.
Right.
That's the issue, yeah.
Well, that I think it is, but we're hopeful that in our situation, the beach associations are different, but in our situation, we get more grant money, it lowers the project costs, and we're still underneath our referendum limit, not with that funding at all. So it's, the amount of money we're borrowing or granting doesn't go up. But as Tim said, we might have to go to bond council to figure that out.
Well, there's a gross and a net concept, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't even know if we're going to get the money.
Right, yeah.
They traditionally don't like to give any money, so.
Yeah.
It's the price.
For this year, right, our figure is 88,422. You guys are good with that, Steve? Feels comfortable-ish right now?
I was just put out last month, so.
So what do you think?
It's all his fault.
We're pretty comfortable
Yeah.
with this, and I think the only question there is probably legal, and there's probably legal left over this year that we can apply if necessary.
And you'll know ahead of time if legal starts to...
Yeah, the legal bills haven't been, I mean, we have one bill that's old and they're fine with us because it's not resolved yet, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a urgent pay, so.
Yeah. But still, if you know you got 40 grand worth of bills coming in and you've
Yeah.
only got 20 of...
Oh, yeah, we'll, you know, I'll have a conversation with you and Tim will know it as well before it ever gets too bad. And I've always done that.
Questions, discussion?
I'd make a motion for the 88,422.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Garvin.
Mr. Garvin? Any other further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 88,422 for WPCA, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you, Rich.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Rogers Lake Authority. Excellent.
Dennis Overfield, the chair, is on vacation, so he asked me to serve
In his stead.
in his stead.
Page. Thank you.
We got
Next page.
two good figures there. So that's also 202. So we got what appears to be a one-time item, $7,000, which is
Yes.
Asian clam related, and then and I'll open it up to everybody to
There's,
questions. And then we've got education training newsletter, which also is a significant increase. So
well, to address the Asian clam, we had a survey done by the Connecticut Agriculture Group of the whole lake, and in doing that, they discovered this Asian mussel. It appears there's a good chance the Asian mussel was introduced to the lake when they put new sand in Haynes Park, because that's basically where they found the mussels. So we went out for quotes to try to find out what to do to eradicate it, because it is an invasive species and it would, grow throughout the lake. When we submitted this $7,000, we had, that was an estimate. We didn't have any quotes. Since that time, we've received quotes, one for $7,000 and one for $20,000. Yeah, it's quite a range. I mean, the $20,000 we've just received them. I've briefly reviewed them. We haven't gone over them with the authority. As you might expect, the $20,000 one's much more thorough and indicative. So I guess I have an open question to you as to how we deal with that.
yeah,
One other small element of that is these Asian mussels spawn when water reaches 60 degrees above that. So to do this early in the year would be better than later in the year. And obviously, we haven't budgeted that from before June. So
right.
I'm just giving you what I know about this. I don't know how you budget or deal with the
Yeah,
financing part of
I
that.
guess if you want to deal with it this year, this fiscal year,
If
you need
it's
to-
possible.
Yeah, folks need to evaluate the two options, 7,000, 20,000. And as quickly as possible. We're meeting every week for the next kind of 4 weeks, I think, before we finish up, and then there's...
Okay.
So it's every week that we're here.
Okay.
Not that we couldn't have a special meeting as well, if required, because the seasonality and the time that it's actually effective. So what may be best is we can hold off for a week, maybe, on Rogers Lake Authority.
Our authority meets next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I could, so you meet, I would guess, again next Tuesday, right?
We do, yep. The following Tuesday as well.
The following Tuesday.
Yep.
I mean, if it would be possible to come back in 2 weeks to discuss, to tell you sort of where we've landed on that, that would be probably the most efficient and we'd have the most information at that.
Right, because if we put it in this budget, that's great, but, it's 15 months from now before the right time to do it is,
Yeah, well, and the concern would be that the problem would grow if we don't.
And it'd be more expensive.
Yeah, it'd be like 80,000.
Yeah, no, it's gonna, it's something you want to stop as soon as you can. So.
Right. So why don't we plan on that?
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want me to address any of the other questions, or we'll just wait for
well, the observation that I personally had, and then I'll open it up to others, was the 4,200, I think, for education, training, and newsletter. There was a significant increase.
The biggest piece of that is $2,000 for training. We were looking to we have a safety patrol on the lake, and we would like to get more formal training from DEEP or from basically from DEEP or other marine patrol organizations. And so we based the $2,000 on DEEP has a training program, the Econ Rangers. It's a 120-hour program, so we just estimated that if we could get into a program like that, that's approximately what the cost would be. And then to provide we also send out a newsletter, and the cost for the printing of that is all going up. That's what that change was.
Can I ask a question about the training real quick?
Yeah.
So let's say you train a particular individual. Do you have some sort of agreement that person will continue to do this, or do you have to, like if that person leaves, train somebody new? I'm just a little confused about the continuity and how long the trained person would be.
Or can we train like 5 at the same time?
Yeah, exactly.
The same cost.
I mean, this is new. We haven't done this before, and we're still trying to work out what that program would be. The hope would be the people would return, year after year. Traditionally we had college kids come during the summer and work, and we're looking to get actually older people possibly that are retired that are available to work during the summer, have good boating skills, have possibly some law enforcement backgrounds, so that we can sort of change the nature of the people that are on the boats.
But could it be one training for 10 interested folks so that or is that specific, that $2,000 is just one person?
We haven't, the thought was for the cost of that person for training, that was for one person. But we're still investigating this, and so we don't have a program.
If you pay a trainer $2,000 and there's half a dozen people there.
Technically, DEEP pays for the training. This is really to pay for the people who attend the training. It's the personnel cost.
Oh, so they'd get paid.
They get paid for going.
DEEP gets paid by Old Line?
No. DEEP does this as part of their legal requirements. And what we would like to, but right now they train the program we're looking to get them in, this Ranger program, is the people, their employees are in training for 120 hours, so at $15 an hour, it's about $2,000. So that's,
an incentive to get them to do the training program?
Yeah,
It's just an hourly rate.
it's
for
an
the
hourly
person being
rate
trained,
for the person that
we're
is
paying
trained.
them
Okay.
For their training.
So we're paying, it's basically a personnel cost to have somebody trained.
So it's 120 hours worth of training. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
My daughter's in EMT and she, you know,
We don't know how much
she had 16 times 8.
Yeah, 3 weeks of 40 hours.
She's an EMT after 110 hours.
I understand.
So it would be better if we had an instructor that could give the required training to a half dozen folks. That would be much more economical,
But
in my personal view.
The cost is for the employee, the potential employee to go through the training, not the trainer.
Person we're hiring.
Right, but if we did, that's what's being proposed. I'm saying a better way to do it is hire a trainer and have.
But, they're proposing paying the people for the time that they have to spend sitting in the training. So if you're paying
question is
6 people to sit in training, it's
Instead
going
of
to
me,
be
my daughter
$12,000.
paying for the training for EMT.
Right.
No, the question is
Seems backwards.
whether somebody to be competently trained needs 120 hours of training.
That's it.
Or it needs to be paid $15 an hour.
It's the aggregate of all the people how many people be trained?
One.
The way this was
one.
proposed was one. I
But
hear
it,
what,
it looks as if we're reducing what we're paying as employees up there.
we are
Why are
$1,000
we-
off budget.
If we're training them to do some work in some of these areas, why would we be cutting back on the amount of time they'll be working? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, we're budgeting 5,000, right?
No, we budgeted for this year 18,000 and we're budgeting now 17,000 all in amongst the 3 categories of,
If you can, because we're gonna push this a little bit.
yeah,
Just think about that.
Okay.
Hire one trainer and half dozen interested folks get trained, and that's a different
okay. No, I understand, that
proposition.
that makes sense.
It may not exist. I mean, this may be the only thing that.
What we're doing doesn't exist at the moment. We're trying to make this happen.
Right.
So, and the trouble with, the difficulty is, you all know with the budgetary process, is you're submitting estimates
Yeah.
before you actually know what.
We've also got police and fire that are on the water, and so they have their own training, and maybe they have some suggestions of.
I've been talking with Trooper Weber about seeing if we could work with him.
Maybe the fire might be another
And
suggestion.
then-
besides Weber. Yeah,
Yes.
he's not like a water guy, so.
Yeah, one of the volunteer firemen, he's retired Coast Guard. And he kind of heads up the old line fire department Marine Division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what,
He's a good resource.
yeah, he was last,
He was very,
he was great, 2 weeks ago.
Jared,
I'm sorry?
Jared Flagg,
Oh, thank you.
thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's spent 20 years in the Coast Guard.
Okay, that would be perfect. Thank you.
I mean, maybe it makes sense to leave $2,000 in there for training, but hopefully it's not for one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than getting in the
You know,
minutia, but
Yeah.
that's a suggestion. Let's get a half dozen folks
Yeah.
potentially trained as opposed to paying somebody to,
There's also
and then they
another
leave
guy,
town next year.
Mike Presti, who's on Harbor Commission, who's also retired Coast Guard.
Yeah, Mike Presti.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Presti.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So we will push this for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can. Thank you,
Can we
Michelle.
ask how many people are involved between the first line, the second line, the boat launch attendants, the boat patrol, and the boat operators? How many humans are involved in all this?
Basically, 5 altogether.
5?
Yeah. Human.
And if you're only training one, what about the other ones?
That's not the training,
Well,
it's the boat operator.
the primary person, there's usually 2 boat operators. And we were trying to get at least one person sort of authorized, officially trained, just to see, again, we're trying to work to see how this program goes. Right now, Rogers Lake, our safety patrol boat has advisory sort of powers. If someone's operating unsafely or violating rules on the lake, the operator of the boat will go over and talk to them, but they don't have any enforcement power. And we've been trying to understand other patrols on other lakes in the state do have that power. And in 85-90% of the cases, it's perfectly, people say, oh, I didn't know that, I didn't know the rules, it's fine. There's the 5% we have to deal with that don't do that. Our recourse right now is to try to videotape it, and then send that videotape to DEEP and ask DEEP to enforce it. We've been trying to investigate if there's a way that we could write, much as your local rangers can write tickets for parking alcohol down on the beach, to see if it would make sense to have our patrol people have the same type of enforcement power. So that's what we've been thinking about. This is all in process. So there's a long way for this to go, but we're trying to get budgeted for it in case we were able to make it work out.
Right.
I think if we had that enforcement power, we could provide better safety on the lake, and because the people generally that don't pay attention to our patrol people are also people that are generally doing the worst on the lake. Right.
Yep.
But would this training give that person the enforcement ability?
That's what this would have to come back to you, sir. But that's what we're looking to figure out how to do.
Is this a requirement or a suggestion? This training, it's a little nebulous what it's doing.
The path we were looking at is that the model that we were using was that if we could get one of our people enrolled in DEEP Ranger program, those people are authorized by DEEP to issue citations. So we thought that would be a nice carryover, or a nice way to get that enforcement possibility. And the one person that would train, we would try to have them out on the boat at the busiest times. We're learning that may not be the specific avenue that will work most effectively. DEEP's Ranger program is primarily focused on the parks and not so much on the water. So we're still trying to work that through, but that may not be the avenue we're looking for, but that's where the request originally came from.
How long is the training good for?
That's a good question. I think.
So you can let us know.
Yeah, I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
The quick answer is I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
For $1,800, we'll be everybody for a while.
Well, I know when people go through other training, the only program that comes to mind is the certification of police officers in the state of Connecticut, which is a 22-week program. That basically lasts forever, I think, refresher courses. DEEP reactivated their Ranger program last year, so I don't know if they rehire some of those people this year, if they'll continue to have the same authority that they had before.
The good thing is if they answer the door, they're just down the road. Right. You have to knock really loud.
Yes, you do need to knock fairly loudly.
All right, good stuff. So 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks from now.
We'll regroup? Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The one thing on the mussels, when you look at the possible contractors, is to make sure that they can get it done in the time frame that's necessary.
Yes.
Because I think we had a situation on Rogers Lake a few years ago where, whether it was for weeds, I think we authorized the money, but it didn't get done and the weeds got a little worse.
Yeah, we're trying to get better on our contracting now, where we put in the dates that they have to have the work done by.
The other thing to keep in mind is $20,000 is, $19,999 is our authority at the Board of Finance to approve something intra-budget.
Okay.
So, and it's one time. So if you come to us and you say, wait a minute, it's going to be 22,000, we have to go to town meeting. It's more of a rigmarole that we have to go through. So if there's a number between 7 and 20, works a lot better than if it's 20050. Okay. Just keep that in mind as well.
No, good, very good to know. Thank
And
you.
what's the impact from Lyme on this? Is this a shared cost, or?
It is.
Yes.
What's at Haynes Park?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Rogers Lake.
it's Rogers Lake.
right, so would they have to vote on it as well?
It's 50/50.
No, but I mean on the 20.
I'll be in contact. I talked with Alan, the new
Yeah.
Board of Finance chair, today. So
Yeah,
we're going to
okay.
sit down on Thursday about shared costs.
Yeah.
So your admonition is
Yeah.
well timed. Yeah.
Almost 60-40 split there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we
Well,
move the needle a little bit?
most of the near-do-wells are on the Lyme side anyway.
We don't have any $19 million houses.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate it, Dennis. All right, Dave. Okay.
Last year.
Last year.
Yes.
We're under emergency.
Nicole, what's your bottom line on that? The sheet that you gave to us last, I got emergency. Yep, got that. I got 76.5.
I have 76. That's what I have.
I think the wages on.
So, okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so Tim, if you can guide us through, corrections were some wages, right? Yeah, yep.
What was the total on that?
I have 58094.
Yep.
That is the Randy Frank study.
Yep.
But if I go by what your salary is now, the fire marshal is 64, that's 43.
Got it. And what's the total?
It's 83,393.
Thank you. 83,394 is the total on the side. Okay. All right, Tim?
Well, Dave and I met this afternoon to further refine this, and we're going to get the emergency management. I think the extras of this small sheet.
That's right, because you were on the phone. That's fine.
Okay. So, the stipend is currently $8,000, and it is reimbursable if Millstone will reimburse 25% of the stipend. There's a
EMPG or Emergency Management
EMPG
Performance
grant that reimburses 50% of it, and therefore the town is responsible for 25% of it. So currently it's $8,000. Essentially, there's no set amount. I guess Dave, you indicated it could be 8, 10, 12, whatever, and it's still the same reimbursement formula.
Correct.
So there would be a decision that should that go from 8 to 10 when you consider the aggregate compensation, because it's part of his compensation at the moment.
Now, just to support the EMPG side, we receive approximately $5,000 reimbursement on a $10,000 grant from the state. It's based upon the population of the town, and we get, give or take, about 5,400 back in our pocket. The theory behind that grant, you spend $10,000, you get back $5,000. It's a 50% reimbursement. In the past, we've always looked at the MPG as
What is MPG?
Emergency Management Performance Grant. What it does is the state of Connecticut offers this out to every municipality based upon their population. Ours is about, we get awarded $10,000 and we get back $5,000. So we have to spend 10 to get back 50% of it.
It's a match.
It's a match.
So if we spend 6, we get 3.
3, correct. And we've always tied this with the portion of the EMD salary along with some phone and communication costs to get to the thresholds.
Okay.
Well, can I just make a comment?
Sure.
And this has to do with the total salaries for Dave. We've always done that, but incorrectly so, because we've gone by the Randy Frank study, which says the combined salary for EMD and fire marshal is only $64,943, and we paid you that plus the stipend. So this has always been an issue.
Well, yeah, let's,
Okay, well, I'm just saying, that's why
Yeah, no.
changed my number. I think it's incorrect, but it's my number that may change.
that's fine. And we may talk offline about this. Yeah.
That's for
So, yeah, appreciate that. So Dave,
Yes.
so salaries, what we're looking at is a proposed increase from 8,000 emergency management to 10,000.
Correct.
And then wages non-reimbursable, right? Going from
Correct.
3 to 6.
Yes.
Now, wages non-reimbursable, is that also your salary or no? Where does that go?
That is with the emergency management staff and the stipend personnel that are not covered under a millstone reimbursement.
But who is that? What is it? What is the $3,000 that's going to wages non-reimbursable?
That would be my support staff in the EOC. My logistics person, my, where did I put it?
So we stay, or your admin.
Yeah, my admin, my dosimetry, my situation unit person who does the recordings. They're all in that EOC during a storm or other non-millstone event, and they're getting paid they're stipending out at $25 an hour.
So we're going from 3,000, which we've had for a while,
Yeah.
up to 6,000 is proposed.
Yes.
And why is that?
The storm forecasting looks like it's going to be worse the next couple of years. Starting to get that up a little bit. Having more in the till to be able to respond with versus having to come back right before a storm and say, what do you want to do? Also, with that, if the storm or event does become large enough where it is a FEMA declaration, I get the opportunity to reclaim whatever those costs are out of that $6,000.
Okay, so you're expecting more storms, so we're going from 3,000 to 6,000.
Yes.
And let's just stop there.
Okay.
So that's, unless anybody else has any other questions about that particular line item? Okay, so other line items going down through.
Down a couple of lines.
Miscellaneous there.
Yeah, mileage is still the same. Dues are still the same. Other miscellaneous, we took $500 off. Telephone's still the same. Equipment's still the same. Everbridge, we cut $5,000 out of that. Originally proposing that we get an enhancement program or what was called Everbridge Pro to add on to our existing program at this point in time. What we have will work. I don't think being able to do it this time of year.
I'm
So
confused.
should that
Wait a
number,
minute.
in our
Yeah.
sheet here, that number's still 9,000?
Yeah,
What
we're
should
taking
number
that
be?
down to 4,000.
Okay.
Up on, you explained the other, it's 500 instead of 600.
All right.
Fine.
Yep.
Okay, so that's down.
To 4,000.
Okay.
All right, so biggest of the big is the COVID virus, 100 grand that we would budget for, right? So
Right.
people would be taxed, it would go into the till.
Well, we already talked about that last, we cut it.
We did cut that 50% last time.
Yep,
Okay,
that came down.
so the 130,600 is now
80,000.
But that's still with the 6,000 under emergency management.
Yeah.
and Reimbursed wages. I mean, to me, again, if there are storms, number one, Dave, emergency management, you deal with it.
Yep.
Emergency, you don't have to call the Board of Finance and say, I need $2,000 more money if I need to bring people in. You deal with the storm and we clean up the mess afterwards.
Okay.
I think that's typically, you know,
I mean, if you're willing to work it that way.
I mean, if there's an emergency, you have to deal with it. And I think everybody in town, including the Board of Finance, understands that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then if we have to do an allocation after that, we can do an allocation.
All right, just, I was always looking at it, trying to at least create a baseline to
Yeah.
be able to work from. If we drop on, we have a bad season, we have
I
the
mean,
fundings ready to
So
go.
was 2020, 2021, I mean, there were a few storms that year. I mean,
Yep.
I'm just seeing that's the only year that line came close to 3,000.
Correct. And what I'm getting from the National Weather Service is we can anticipate in the next 3 to 4 years a spike or an increase in volatile weather.
We're okay.
Okay.
I feel like.
Which is fine, knowing that I
It's good
can,
to be warned.
I'll be able to
So
come back and
that's-
let you know at that point.
Yeah.
So that's back
Is there
down.
an idea of like, what does the average storm cleanup look like? Or if there's a hurricane, what does that look like in general, like dollars and cents, do you know? I know it varies.
This is just wages, though.
That's
This
just
is
wages.
wages for
Wages,
reaction,
okay.
yeah.
The actual storm or the last
Right.
last
Yeah.
thing down there at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think especially if that's a number that if we have to pull in people for a storm, that it's gonna likely get reimbursed by FEMA,
Right.
that
Yeah,
there's more flexibility there.
okay.
So we're bringing those to the 10 and 6 down?
Well, the 10 we can talk about later.
Okay,
The 6 down to 3,
okay,
600 down to
Sounds like-
500, right?
right.
Yeah,
yeah, 600 down to 500, and then
The 9 to 4.
the 9 to 4, and then 100 to 50, which is right.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago.
so on the top, the 10,000, which we'll have your private discussion about, reducing the 6 to 3,000, second line.
Yep.
500 will still stay the same, 250 will stay the same.
Now dues went up $100, Dave. What's up with
Yeah.
that?
Everybody's jacking their dues.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to belabor it.
That's okay, the 600's gone to 5, so we got a balance there.
There you go, okay.
We're staying at 750 for the equipment.
Yep,
Dropping 9,000 to 4,000 for the
Yep.
Everbridge. 250 and 250 stay the same. We cut the 100,000 in half to 50,000, and whatever that totals up to.
77.6.
Oh, you're good, Michelle.
77 what?
all right,
And today's date.
and that's keeping the 10, which we'll talk
Which
about.
you have to talk about on.
Yeah, a little bit more, okay. All right, so, fire marshal side,
Fire marshal is pretty much the same, with the exception of, as I had an earlier discussion 2 weeks ago, looking at bringing in a person on part-time as needed to accomplish, have a mission of going to, doing all the mercantiles on all roads. My largest area. Mercantiles I'm required to do every 3 years. With COVID, I have not had a chance to get in there at all, and they're all either due or past due for their annual, or their 3-year fire inspection.
Now, two things from me, and the rest can, everybody else can weigh in. First of all, Duddy, right?
Yeah,
We talked with Super a couple of years ago to get the backlog down.
yeah.
I think Andy was also at that meeting. The original intention was get the backlog down, and then you got to maintain it. This was like a one-time thing, and now it seems like it's a permanent thing. That's one thing. Second thing is on the inspections. That's kind of your job.
Yep.
So, you know, I appreciate emergency management. I see $8,000 for emergency management. Maybe it's 10, whatever.
Yep.
And again, without getting into the weeds, like fire inspections in Old Lyme, you're not talking about East Lyme.
No?
And we're talking about full-time here.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at 200 hours to accomplish one specific mission.
Now, how many hours do you work for Old Lyme?
30 hours a week.
Times 50 weeks?
50 weeks is 1,560 hours.
How many hours is that?
1,560.
How many hours does it take you to do the required inspections here in town? How many inspections are required every year?
750 hours.
750. Out of how many hours?
1,560.
Right. Can you do it?
No,
You can't do it.
no.
So you need,
For the last 2
you need
years.
a helper.
I'm asking for help.
I don't get it. You told me that you work 1,500 hours a year. It takes you 750 to do your job, and you need a helper? How does that work?
One portion of my job is for inspections.
Mm-hmm.
Another portion of my job is for plan review, design review, and site inspection. My responsibilities is for fire and hazardous materials investigations.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to divide it up 3 ways, 750 times 3 would be over 2,200 hours, which is not enough hours.
Hazardous,
I think.
okay, so last year, how many hours did you spend on the other 2 items that you just talked about?
Off the top of my head, not many, because most of my time was spent with COVID.
Right. How about prior to COVID?
Couldn't go back.
Hazardous waste in Old Lyme? What are we talking about? Hazardous materials.
Hazardous materials, failures of oil tanks,
Mm-hmm.
Failures of transportation deliveries,
Mm-hmm.
Failures of storage facilities.
It's a residential community.
Yeah. I've had 2 hazardous materials incidents over at Kellogg Marine alone. I've had 3 failed oil tanks, in-ground oil tanks in the last couple of years.
Last couple of years. Anybody else?
Well, I understand during COVID, things were different. So with all the changes to all our rules in terms of timing, has the state given any leniency to inspections like this being done?
They have come out with a restructure of inspections annually. These are all mercantile. As I said earlier, they're on a 3-year cycle. And the last time I went through all of those was 2018, 2019. So they're all coming due or are due, depending upon where they are in the cycle, to be re-inspected. For me to be able to devote 60 hours of time and walk away from everything else is extremely difficult at this time.
I guess one of my concerns would be, so okay, we hire this person to help for a year to catch up. Then we're going to be in the situation 3 years from now that those businesses, instead of being staggered, are all going to have to be inspected again.
It all depends on how much other incidents or if COVID reestablishes itself, where I have to take my time away from doing my inspections. to do other things.
But my point is, it's probably not a good idea to have them all inspected in the next 12 months, because then 3 years from now, they're all gonna be due again.
Well,
And
they're
you will not be
they're all on a 3-year cycle anyway.
But you're gonna throw that 3-year cycle off if you're doing catch-up,
True.
right? That's what my point is,
I'm from,
that we should probably just spread them out and do a third, a third, a third, even though some may go 4 years.
We are talking about
Some have
how
already
many
gone
businesses,
4 years.
though? Andy, we're talking about how many businesses?
about 68 over there,
Right.
60 to 68
So
businesses.
you're talking 20 a year, 25 a year. That's one every other week.
Yeah.
Does that get Rogers Lake and the beaches and stuff? You know, any food retail and all that?
That covers basically everything from Halls Road, down Halls, from 156, everything on Halls Road, all the way down to Lime Street. Every business in there, with the exception of the liquor store, the restaurants, and the Big Y. I really haven't had any interactions in any of those other places in at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
Question for somebody who knows, because I got a rough copy of it, but is there an enumeration of separate duties of emergency management and fire marshal in the survey that was done?
I think it's unified, but they obviously can.
Because not all towns are unified. I mean, I know the police chief over in Saybrook is also the emergency management. He makes $400,000 a year, right? For everything that he does. Good guy. I like him and everything else. So,
I don't know about the new survey, and I'm not
Yeah.
involved in that, but when, I keep saying maybe Frank, that's the one that I've been involved in, it is combined, the job.
so
The
there's,
job description is combined fire marshal, emergency management.
because that's what we had at the time probably, and that's what we asked her to
Right,
evaluate.
we've always talked about splitting those two jobs up.
Right.
Using-
Because it feels, Dave, like you're working a lot more on emergency management
Lately I have,
than you are fire.
yes.
And so to figure out what those are worth would be helpful, to figure out what's fair to everybody.
Did
So-
you keep track of those hours? When Donna was here, didn't she ask you to keep track of what hours for what?
When originally I was hired on a salary under Tim's regime, Bonnie moved me to exempt or non-exempt and allowed me to do both jobs within the same time frames. And then when Tim came back, originally they broke me to do separate emergency management and fire marshal activities separately recorded.
Yeah.
And then after COVID started in 2020, it got combined back to a salary exempt position. So I've been bounced from one side of the court to the other.
But you
Yeah,
told
but-
me that you kept a log of emergency management duties, hours, and fire marshal hours separately.
During a normal year.
Years
A couple of years of normal stuff. I think this is more a question for the Board of Selectmen to figure out than it is Board of Finance, but it figures into the Board of Finance because we had approved something,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I want to go back to the Andy question about staggering the inspections. Your estimate, Dave, of 750 hours, is that to inspect all 60 businesses?
No, I'm asking for 200 hours.
No, but you gave the estimate for yourself to do
Yes.
it
Yeah.
at 750.
Okay. So again, my question is, was that estimate of 750 hours to do all the businesses?
The 60 businesses approximately, all those.
Portions of it, yeah. Along with the other reports, the annual ones.
Well, where I'm going, so Andy makes a good point that if we catch up and inspect all of the businesses this year, then we don't inspect businesses on year 2 and year 3, but we have a lump to inspect every 3 years, which does make sense. And so my question really is, what does the law say? What are the penalties if we're behind? We're apparently behind right now in inspecting everybody every 3 years. And my question is, what are the consequences of that? If, as Andy suggested, we divide the 60 businesses by 3 and inspect 20 each year, I understand we're going to be behind for some of them, but what's the consequence of that?
Something goes up in smoke after the fact.
And we haven't inspected it, I
Yeah.
don't think the town would be liable.
So there's some exposure to tort liability.
A tiny, I've never ever seen, in my experience with commercial real estate, a town get sued. It's, the insurance company pays and you go away. So, but your point is right, we should do what the law says, because it may be the first lawsuit that ever shows up, you know? So you don't want to be the first lawsuit.
Yeah, but we're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. It doesn't make sense to inspect all of the businesses this year and then none next year and the year after, right?
Unless we budget for it and we have like a part-time fire marshal for 2 years and then full-time.
But then we don't want to fall prey to that again. It happened a few years ago, as Andy said, so we clean it up. Then we have to institute, do we start inspecting people early just so we can get this spread over 3 years instead of all or nothing?
Reduce, if you wanted to look at it, it's reducing those 200 hours down to about 65 or 70 hours and being able to
do it every year.
Do it every year.
Yeah, but you should be able to do it every year at that load.
Provided that I don't have everything else going on.
Yeah, I know there are things that are unpredictable. Yep. Nobody predicted COVID, and that you'd have this gap. What if we had blue skies on Tuesday and nothing for the next 2 years? I could probably get caught up.
How many total? We're talking about 68 businesses. So how many total inspections in the town have to be done?
About 150 commercial.
Okay, so 50 a year.
Yeah.
And do you have dates as when they were last in?
Right. He said 68.
So I was going to say, maybe you could take the ones that are farthest or the most overdue.
You know what?
And chunk that.
I would ask that the Board of Selectmen figure this out and make a recommendation.
One suggestion might be, if the ones that are most behind and we're concerned about lawsuits, if we said, all right, we're going to budget $1,000, vote on $1,500 right now, and get them done between now, get what you can get done between now and June, and then budget maybe another $1,500 for next year. You should really know exactly how many are due now. And
by the way, my office is not going to burn down. Hideaway has a much higher likelihood.
Right, or some sort of list that's prioritizing things, like maybe the schools need to be prioritized first.
Schools are done every year.
Those are different buckets.
That's a whole different bucket.
We're talking about the retail, which are non-restaurant, non-school,
non-fire,
that don't have kitchens,
right?
That are offices, that are not the highest.
Offices and retail establishments.
And Bowerbird might light their microwave on fire.
But I think lay out a hard plan. That would be my suggestion for the Board of Selectmen to look at. All right, what's it going to cost for us what needs to be done now to catch up from the ones from 2018 that were done in 2018 that didn't get done in 2021 because of COVID. And I think that's a reasonable reason for not doing them because of COVID.
Right. But then
Mr. Garvin and Mr. Olson.
But then we need a maintenance plan.
I would say, to make this conversation more productive, this is the second time you've been here.
Yep.
In the future, just show up with an aggregated list of all the inspections that are required, when they're due, just some basic data, because a couple times you've said things that actually have been contradictory, which I think has created some ambiguity for this group. And I think it'd be really helpful if you could just lay out exactly what needs to get done, when it's due, how long it will take to do each one of those tasks, and I think we could have a more productive.
And why you can't do it yourself. Because you're asking for another guy. And by the way, why Duddy is still required. We did think that he would get us caught up, and then you got to sit in front of a computer and type. And I know people don't like that. I don't know if that's a problem or not, but, I get it.
Okay. So moving down the line, 2250, that is for Mr. Duddy, the admin, to do the NFIRS.
Again, that was for catch-up, so we could get our ISO rating, which I don't even know if we have it yet. So I assume that for that report to be filed, we were caught up.
I believe so.
So shouldn't we look and see what's necessary? That since we're caught up, again, looking at it in a similar fashion as David said before, how many, I know we don't know how many incidents the fire department's gonna have that they get called out on.
But each one of those has to be answered.
I understand that, and that's, there's still an average over the last 8 or 10 years.
Yep.
And what's normal.
Right.
And the rest of the line items are still the same.
Oh, publications.
The code's changing in October.
That's right.
Oh, that's
You
right.
told us so.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll regroup again.
Maybe.
Thanks, Dave.
Not a problem.
Yep.
But hopefully after the next Board of Selectmen's meeting, it's the last time we can hide behind these things. It's all up to them.
All right.
You, Dave.
Uh-oh.
Thank you,
Bush.
Dave.
Oh, no.
What?
We're busy end of the month.
Yeah. All right. Back to the top of the order. Lime Youth Services. Limes. An S missing. Youth Services Bureau. 206.
We went and met with Mary Seidner, and she went over their budget. I mean, Old Line pays just a portion of what they actually operate under, between grants, Lime, and money that they charge for programs and that kind of thing. I don't have the sheet right.
Budget? Did Mary not, it didn't get sent?
I maybe just didn't, I don't know if did Mary send you anything?
No.
Okay.
Did she send Nicole, did she send a request with a balance sheet at all, by any chance? Yeah, so typically what we also get,
I think she gave us, we had asked her to email it to Michelle and Nicole, but she didn't do that.
But we sometimes take a look at, just for information purposes, is taking a look at endowments and other efforts that folks
So that's
their own money.
That's what's here. So endowments, they have interest income of $2,500, contributions from individuals of $51,000, businesses $8,500. Grants from foundations, $5,000. The state contributes $37,500. They have a drug-free communities grant from the federal government. That's $125,000. Old Line is $96,000. Lime contributes $25,800. They host fundraisers that bring in $69,000. Programming and service fees bring in $9,850, and then counseling and parent education fees bring in $39,500, to make up a total income of, that's last year's budget. Well, their total income this year is projected to be $474,950, and they're expecting their expenses to be $474,650. So they're expecting a balance of $300.
And that's a good nonprofit.
Right.
Did they have a number for their endowment, which was about 550, 600 grand, something like that.
She didn't tell us what the overall endowment was, just what the interest was that they.
Just curious.
Yeah, just the
Whether they
interest.
had a good year or bad year. And
How much is
Yeah.
Lime contributing?
25,800.
Makes
Is
sense
that
compared to
in
the
addition to the
90.
96?
That's in addition
So
to
the
the
96 here is just,
Is,
Right.
and they charge Lime,
Well, I think,
Lime.
are we going up to 99?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
it is to 99.
And I talked to Lime, theirs is going up as well to
Yeah.
like 27.
normally, when it's a combined thing, we have 100% on our.
It's separate.
Not on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So 3% increase.
yeah.
Yep. I'll wait.
All right.
And, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There was counseling
I mean,
service increases because of COVID,
Yeah.
you know, a
Yeah.
lot more of that
Yeah.
being necessary.
Nothing objectionable that you.
No, absolutely not.
3 grand.
All right, so entertain a motion for the 99 grand?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Abstain, daughter.
All right. One abstention.
Raise. Get her off my books.
You need more than 3% bump here.
All right, animal control, 2005. Where's the reporters?
206, right?
205?
If you want to, I have them here, but go ahead if you'd like.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
They changed.
Yep.
Salaries the same, 52,980. Total is the same, 100, advertising, a reduction from 200 to 50. Other miscellaneous reduction to $10.
Well, we did it to keep the line open. You can put 0 if you like, but 10 seems reasonable.
So that was the other? Or the
Other and
advertising?
miscellaneous.
Other mis-
Advertising is 50.
Telephone reduced to 650.
What is?
Telephone.
Am I right, Lana?
Uh-huh.
Repairs and maintenance, we're increasing that by 2,000, and we'll talk about that, but the total will be 4,000.
Okay.
And one is a one-time thing. No other changes until the bottom, animal expense increased to 8250. And education and training reduced to $50, 300.
Wait, so 8,000 is 8250?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
The 300 is now 50,
Yep, total?
71328.
Correct.
Turn it over to you.
Oh,
Whoever wants to.
but there isn't a lot to talk about. Salaries are the same. The
Kimberly, you're on that? Or-
Yep, yep, Susan and I with Lynn.
They find that it's pretty unpredictable to know what animal costs are
Mhm.
based on how many they get, so on and so forth. So rather than, I encouraged her to add a little bit because she receives so much in donations and she tends to take out of her own pocket. And I prefer that doesn't happen in light of what's been going on at animal control because it angers people.
Yeah.
You know, who's paying for what, so on and so forth. In the past, and she's trying now again, is to look back at the year and see how much it would have cost for spay and neuter and vet bills if she did not receive the donation she had. All of that would come out of this $82.50. Right now, she has 19 cats there with medical issues. I can't imagine what she's spending on that.
I mean, they had dental issues, and I think another point that she made that is important is that the care that the Old Lyme Veterinary Hospital provides to the animals that come into animal control, they charge her half price on everything. So I think in a lot of cases, they're losing money providing care for the animals there.
And we can't always count on that.
Yeah.
We had a history over a number of years of her never coming here and never being offered a chance to review her budget, and therefore things are done on a shoestring and maybe not up to speed. There's water leak in one of the ceilings, and the attic needs to be cleaned out, as well as my ears are ringing suddenly. That Phil has asked for $4,000 in repairs and maintenance.
Is that the,
Yeah, usually it's 2,000, and he actually came in this morning because he ended up calling her and making sure he covered everything. And I guess the attic is filled with old stuff, so he will
Probably blankets
there,
and
like,
equipment.
I don't know, boxes or whatever, but
Yep.
the insulation, I guess, is all coated with rodents, whatever. And Phil doesn't feel comfortable having the guys do it. He'd rather hire somebody specifically to clean it, pull everything out of there, put new insulation on, and
encapsulated?
Yeah.
whatever he needs to do to, yeah.
And the other thing is, there's two people that work there. They're both
Those
part-time
cats,
without
can't we send the
benefits.
cats up there?
No, but maybe the varmints for the cats are up there. There, two people man this 7 days a week, on call. I think Lynn gets 26, 28 hours a week, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say for the past 6 months, she's been over 30 hours a week
Yeah.
routine,
Right.
which, full time.
Yeah.
Assistant's now
But she,
certified too. Previously, she was
Plus
not.
the amount of animals and the calls.
right.
Yeah.
And they can't be left, you can't stop in once a day and clean up and feed. You have to go at least twice a day, along with on-call.
Well, when you got 20 animals, you gotta deal with that more than once.
Right.
I'm
And
right.
if there's,
Right, I mean, she said most days she's cleaning the litter boxes 3 or 4 times a day.
and there's 5 boxes.
Yeah, I know, or if she gets kittens, or if she gets puppies, or whatever.
And we used to pay for outside cleaning service there years ago. They take all that upon themselves. Laundry, it's just a lot of work. And I don't think it's a lot of money they're asking for.
So is this a number?
We're comfortable with.
We're
and
comfortable with this number. I think that both, at least one of the impressions I walked away from is that Lynn can't work here forever. So we need
Right.
a picture of, even if Lynn is completely comfortable giving her time, her money, whatever to this, like we need to know how much it actually costs
Right.
to run it, because at some point Lynn is not
It's
going to be
unrealistic
there,
now.
and we're going to have to potentially pay someone a lot more to do what she's doing.
The other thing is, I don't know what the rules are for animal control within the state. Evidently, we are one of the few that take care of cats. Most just take in dogs. So
Really?
that's what I was told.
That's interesting.
So the
I think
cat
a lot
places
of
are
places
fine.
have.
I mean, I got a cat during COVID for the girls. but-
Oh, my God.
I think a lot of places maybe have animal shelters
True, that are
or a
voluntary.
nonprofit entity
That's what
that
I,
That's
take
probably
on that
what it is.
responsibility.
yeah.
Anyway, I can't imagine manning it 2 part-time people for,
She also has people coming in to look.
yes, and appointments.
And whenever they can, and
And she also,
it's a big website for all pictures and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a good job.
and she goes to all the animal adoption events at local shopping centers. I mean, she's obviously very dedicated to these animals beyond it being just a job. But I think it's a good number for this year, and
Well,
it's
she
a
wants
slight
to
increase.
increase, otherwise they never leave
That's
home.
true too.
What was that?
There's a couple of different motivations.
So when you look at it, it's less than $4,000 over 21-22, and I think we should continue to increase it slightly.
So 71,328, is that?
71328. And we have spent a lot of time with her, different phone calls. She takes quite a bit of hand-holding. So let's
I'll
give her
entertain a
one.
motion for the 71,328.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay, loudly. Keep your name now.
Say the animal.
Tim, is there a legal line in there?
There will be soon. Oh, dear.
Button stickers are fun, you know, you should take a look at them.
Oh, boy. is gonna spend time with.
Tim, what did you used to say about animals?
What's that?
One of the previous selectmen advised you about animals?
Rice,
Yeah? They take a lot of
what did
time.
you say?
Well, we've had a fun session of late.
Yes.
But
Anyway.
You were warned long ago.
Right.
We might be policemen help us out.
Yeah.
Matt.
So, general government, Tim, if you take us through, and Nicole, I had like 2 items that register we've already dealt with.
I could do a selecting one, but,
Well, let me ask, in the interest of efficacy, why don't we spend a minute on Selectman's office? And if anyone has any questions, let's entertain those questions. Otherwise, oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Away for, so we can discuss that.
to Selectman's office? Okay, so, yep.
Okay, so down the last item, sustainable lines, we've asked for an increase of 500 back to 1,000. We can have increase it
And just curious, what,
make them separate thing in the boards and commission type of thing, or? I guess they're not a committee.
should we do a separate,
Sustainable old line
At
building.
some, they're gonna stick
500
around,
to
so
1,000.
at some point,
like, is that posted,
we may wanna consider.
like we do for EDC, you know, that doesn't have that
They're not,
much?
they're just a committee, they're not a board and commission yet, so they've fallen, they've always held.
Oh, it's ad hoc, so.
And there's also an addition, the Soundview Gateway Commission,
Ooh.
or a committee, which was just approved by the Board of Selectmen. We need money,
Oh, that's
we need a
nice.
line item, a home as well, and I suggested under the Selectmen for like $1,000.
Are those the 2 changes?
Right? Yeah, we did, yeah, they approved three.
And what is that, the Soundway Gateway?
Downtown Gateway.
Matt,
Money.
we're gonna head it up.
Basically, just going for like 156 end of town, coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
From Shell Station to the street
Go.
beyond the post office.
Mile Creek, over to PD.
Okay.
So I had put in 1,000, I don't know what you want it to be, no one really got back to me, so.
Right, if the Board of Selectmen is okay with it, so it's 1,000 for that, and
1,000 for that, and
$500 increase in sustainable old line.
that'll be a total of 308, 921 for the selection.
Which is still down from this year.
Right.
I want to reconsider the legal.
I was gonna say, I have a
That
question
didn't do it.
based on the January report on the legal line, that if we're 75% spent on $60,000 right now,
Well,
why are we increasing that?
some of that, though, is Hall's Road Improvement Committee
Mhm.
that Tim had used Selectmen's budget for,
Okay.
because they needed to do something this year.
I mean, if the selectmen's legal is a dumping ground for committees that don't have budgets. So it's not strictly stuff that has to do with the Board of Selectmen.
It's not as easy as saying, hey,
Right.
we're 6 months in, let's double it, and that should be
Right.
out this year.
Well, I'm just saying it's been 60,
As Kim is saying, if you look back historically,
well, it's been
60
budgeted.
is not out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to keep it in.
You know,
And
especially
so-
just if we're on track to hit
It's so
that.
unpredictable when you get hit with something. And I seem to recall that lawyers cost a lot of money.
Really?
To go from 50 to 60.
It's not going down either, is it?
Snap your fingers.
Has that been resolved yet?
I don't want to know.
Not yet.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
it's up to the Selectmen to recommend,
I'd say if it gets in trouble, we'll just have to,
and then if anyone has an objection.
We've got a few weeks before we pass the budget, so if anything seems to be moving the needle, we can
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah, it was more just we got this report in the mail and it jumped out at me.
As it should.
So with that thought, would anyone like to make a motion for Selectmen's office? The total that Nicole gave us with 50,000 is 308,921.
How about if we split the difference and I'll make a motion for 313,921 and move the legal up to 55.
Okay.
Still makes it pretty much a flat budget.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Rob.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll move, I'm sorry. Okay, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
313,921.
Motion carries. All right. Town clerk?
Not much to say there.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for 141,497.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Questions?
Well, I'm looking back historically.
Yeah.
And that is high compared to actuals historically. Not a terrible amount, by 15,000 or so. I'm just kind of curious as to where the overages are.
Well, salaries have gone up slightly.
Looking at 127, 124, 124, 170.
It looks like part of it's contracted services, $3,000 or $4,000 lower.
Well, from 2 years ago, the budget was 133. The budget this year is 141.
No, I'm looking at the actuals,
Actual,
Dave, rather than the budgets.
127.
127, yeah. And it looks like it was contracted services, that's 4 of that.
Seasonality of her activities, it might be,
That's probably the top.
a lot of the contracted services for online things, payments online and a lot of stuff. Maybe her annual contracts might not have come up. I just don't have the answer for that.
And at 6 months, it was almost half.
Yeah.
Well, where is it from Nicole's most recent? I mean, we're at 22 grand if you just double the 10, 7.
Take 1,000 out of
They
it.
market, you got a lot more deeds and more recording and all that stuff.
So there's probably an offset for revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, her revenue is through the roof.
Is it? Everything's relative, yeah. All right. Anyone care to make a motion? Did you make?
I made a motion
Yeah.
Motion, yeah.
for the 141,497.
Yeah, and it was seconded. We're going to motion on the table for consideration. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 141,497, the town clerk say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Tax collector. The only significant increase is in 8,500 from 7,000 in postage, is that right?
You get a post rate increase.
Oh, that's right. Inflation hurts. Bottom line, Nicole, that I've got is 118,567. Is that the same number?
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
Shave it.
Yeah, it just seems like that's,
2,700.
I mean, even if you went up 10% to 77, of the rates went from like 51 to 53.
But if you go back, we had some weird years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1920.
Well, 1920 is a weird year because we decided to have the contract, quality data, per.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And mail it out with COVID.
Yeah.
Instead of having them get all the bills and like, pull
Hand.
everything along to Dave Kelsey and put it in one.
Yeah.
It takes more time that way and less postage, so I think we're gonna go.
Do you think the 8,500 is?
I'm not gonna comment on the fact about the
No.
So,
Well, let me just ask a factual question. The 8,500 came from Board of Selectmen?
that's one.
For the tax collector, you guys, is the Board of Selectmen okay with
I
8,500?
didn't work with her this year. We did a lot of work last year, but,
Where's 8,500 for postage?
Up from,
But it includes labor
For mailing.
for mailings and things,
Oh,
yeah.
no, one item is gonna be higher, either labor is gonna be higher if she does all the mailings herself.
That's right,
Or postage will be higher if they have this company do it.
yeah.
I don't know what they,
But in that line item, it's a combination of either.
one or the other, it's gonna offset salaries or it's gonna be offset by that.
All right, we're talking about not that much money?
I'd leave it.
I'd leave it too.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for the 118,567. Garvin.
Second.
Mr. Russell. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed say nay. Great, motion carries. All right, treasurer.
So, salary line item, my staff person, all the ARPA money goes out in a specific year, and we spend over $750 in 1 year, we will have to do a federal single on it, the auditors will charge. I don't know how much more, but I put in a little bit more for that.
Yeah, it's probably more than that, but, you know.
It depends how it all falls, if we want to review that, so I don't know, when we're gonna get the ARPA money out to across the fiscal year,
So you upped it by $3,000.
yeah.
So going from 213,550 to 220,603. I'll entertain a motion for the 220,603 for treasurer.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the $220,603 for treasurer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Thank you, motion carries. All right, registrar, we have a presentation, we already passed. That's good. Info tech.
So I have no changes, I haven't gotten any input from the chairman of the committee.
Yep, Andy's on the,
He's been busy on in his personal work, and so I think he has,
the only increase, I think, is contracted, or consultant/contracted service, is that?
Well,
like-
then,
I was from prior year's estimate.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what I'm talking about, CT
Yeah.
is done every year. I don't have updated numbers. They requested that a couple of days ago.
The 76?
Yeah, so that number will change, might change, and I think it will based on capital,
Wait, the 76 was in our numbers that you gave to us in January.
Right, I did.
What, and that has changed or no?
It's the number I came up with out of the
It's my knowledge the Infotech committee hasn't met.
Right.
I mean, I'm on the committee and I haven't been to a meeting in a year.
But the 70, you said a few days ago, the consultant came to us with like
Just sent it today
yeah.
to the IT committee,
Oh,
and
so,
What's the
don't
number?
know the status of any of it.
You just add, they're just asking for more
All I
money.
know is I had to put something in the budget, and that's what I put my estimate back in December, and I had nothing to go on.
did they, in the figures that you saw from them, was it enumerated this way? Did they have consultancy throughout the year, or was it
Have
like...
they had a meeting?
No, I'm just asking about the consultants themselves have submitted what they think it should cost for the next year. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it just came in this afternoon, like,
What's the number?
I haven't even looked at it.
Oh, you haven't looked at it?
No.
So let's push it. Yep. Okay.
We can get Michael to attend.
I thought he'd be here.
And
Well, he's got to, if we just got it, people got to digest it and
Sure.
whatnot. So we'll push that until,
the addition of a part-time employee, whose idea is that?
I don't know.
Well, when CT Comp does certain things, they charge portal to portal, and they're way up in Plantsville somewhere, so that's probably
right.
45 minutes each way, so, you're already into it for $150 or something. So if there's a simple fix, it might, if there was somebody that could be responsive locally to do something simple, provided, I know that there's always jealousy between one person and another person, so they have to be satisfied that a contractor could do something and wouldn't wreck their system somehow.
It sounds like we need a couple of weeks for the Information Technology Committee
The committee should
to at least opine upon something.
Right.
Because I know the IT committee is going to request to meet with him and go over that part in person and why they feel it's needed.
So 2 weeks from now, the 15th?
Something like that.
The 15th?
Yeah. Push to the 15th. Probate court dispense with quickly.
Probate guidance, this is the handout.
Yep.
And it comes directly from the town people, and this is
$7,000, entertain a
So
motion.
really, should it be 6,200?
Can we make it 62.25, because one time they increased a couple bucks in our whole department. So if we could make it 62.25.
Yep.
I'll make a motion for 6225.
Stick your neck out, Andy. I'll second.
What's the number?
6225.
And 50 cents.
Yes, and
55, I think.
All right,
There's a deposit on
further
that soda
discussion?
bottle.
None? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Great. Assessors, salaries, that's basically it, I think.
Yep.
A little bit of increase for contracted services.
And that's from her contract, her EMP as well.
That's right.
Okay.
So that number is 153,550. I'll entertain a motion for that. Mr. Garvin, is there a second? All right. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Building Department? Okay.
I'll make a motion for the 143,666.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Health Department, again, I think we got,
Just so you know,
I don't know if it changed, but
the ARP committee recommended the 21,000, the ARP money going to them, so they're collecting a bunch of money from towns to augment their budget, so it's a big help to them. I think we already gave them something earlier in the year, too. You recall, was there a...
Yeah, they wanted 10%, like we paid them.
Yes, like
4,900.
4,000 or something.
Yeah.
Small money.
Okay,
And
good.
the Board of Finance approved what we approved.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't we approve that?
I don't, Matt, I have to check that. I don't think we voted on it. We were informed about it. But all the ARP, I think, there's a question whether the Board of Finance needs to,
According to Jack Collins, you have to go through the process.
Board of Finance, because it's an expenditure.
Yeah.
And so,
We have to accept the grant.
Well, it's coming out of the fund, so it's not like a regular budget expenditure, but probably belt and suspenders if you had selected finance and town meeting.
well, it should be because it's an appointed committee. I would feel uncomfortable having $2.1 million allocated by an unelected body.
It's supposed to be transparency. The government wants transparency for the public of the towns and cities to know where the money is going. So the 21,000, what is it, 615 and 12 cents or something?
Yeah.
Whatever, that they asked for, we approved, we sent it to the selectmen, Board of Selectmen approved it, but you need to approve it and really ensure that you go to town meeting as well, and then we can send it. There are 10 towns, out of those 10 towns, 7 have already sent their money to them. We have approved it, and another town approved it last week. So they're only waiting on one other town.
For legislation.
For legislation.
And one of the things we've been talking about is, and we think we have it into Jack Collins, is what is going to town meeting mean? Can we just go and say, we get ARPA money based on blah, 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 this is how the committee is going to try to allocate it, and...
It'd be a lot more...
Whatever, and have them vote on just the process? Because if we have to go back to every single, you know, I mean, it could take forever for us to get them all together.
But the easiest thing to do is the committee comes up with, here's 12 things that we want to spend money on. We go to one town meeting, we approve it, and we're all done.
We're going to do that.
Otherwise, it's Chinese water torture, like you got $2,500 here and like
if we do
21 grand to that guy.
Dave, if we do it in a general sense, like it could be not to exceed 50,000 for this and 100,000 for that, and then we, the Board of Finance and Selectmen, can color in the detail as to specifics, then, because going with 81 requests to town meeting will be a nightmare.
We don't even want to put percentages, you know, we don't want to put dollar amounts even in.
Right.
Most general we can be to get this thing town approved.
Well, unless, I disagree with that.
It's a Jack question. In other words, the purpose of a town meeting is to approve expenditures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the state feds want transparency. So I think it's an open question whether you have to specify how many dollars are going to each recipient or not. I don't know the answer.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's an open question.
Categories.
It's our goal to say small business allocation, you might say 75,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got 15 things, here's roughly what we're going to spend.
And then let's say we don't spend 75 in small business, and we'll have 10, and maybe that'll go to infrastructure, move it to infrastructure. You know, I mean, some of this is going to be a little, until things start to come in, and you get bids, and you know what you're doing, it's going to be necessary.
Unless you're West Haven and it goes to one guy. And then he goes to jail.
So funny, yes.
Going up the river.
Their budget is depending on it, and they're trying to go through their budget process next year, and they're going behind COVID too, so they can love this.
I would be fine entertaining a motion for it, except it's above 20 grand. I don't know how that works.
Exactly.
And so,
right?
So we would be approving it to go to town meeting.
Right. Does it need to be on the agenda in
No.
order to?
We have a town meeting coming up in a couple of weeks.
Probably.
No, a little while, yeah.
Put it on next next week's agenda?
Be at least,
And then we're gonna do a town meeting for like 21 grand? And it's up to you guys, but,
we have Halls Road.
We're doing it with Halls Road.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so if we got one coming up,
We can do it next week with,
oh, that's right, because we pushed that. That was gonna be the end of February, and then it got pushed.
we can get the specific number next week.
So, I mean, yeah,
It
the
needs to go
agenda's
on our
not,
agenda.
the agenda's not, we can add agenda items, right? Well,
Well, we,
I just think usually to vote on something, doesn't it have to be on the agenda that's published before the meeting?
yeah, under other business.
You already moved that up with Dave, does that qualify us as back to full business or other business?
I only moved Dave up.
It's next week.
The rest of the other business, I didn't move up.
Is Tim for town
Because other
meeting
business
purposes?
can be, it can just be other business, so we,
Is next week too late if we put it on the
No.
agenda for next week?
no, because we meet Monday, and
Okay.
we will set a date for it and get the agenda going,
Okay.
and then we can follow up.
and then you give us the, yeah,
The
you
real
guys
number.
give us the motion or whatever we
Yeah.
need to
The
do,
real number.
yeah, the
Yeah.
resolution or, and then we can do it next
Work
week.
up the language,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, so.
Put on the agenda.
Well, no, that's,
That's
Yeah,
pretty-
Michelle,
Yeah,
on the agenda will be under other business,
yeah.
ARPA, 21,000 to Ledge Light.
or whatever, 21
Not to exceed.
Whatever number
Whatever the-
that they have,
Ledge Light contribution,
yeah.
around 20,000.
less than 22.
Less than 22.
Not to exceed.
All right, Health Department, what are we, Health Department, yeah, that's where we were.
So the 57,000 comes from legislate for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 39,000 for mosquito control, no one really, it's always the first election who put that in because it didn't fall under legislate. So I just put that in the same last year, but I think you could reduce it at least by 1,000 or so because I think one year we had a really bad mosquito year.
We're particularly.
Equine, we had,
AAA.
Triple E.
Yeah.
Anyone feel strongly about that? 39 grand going down?
Nope.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for 100,977. Health Department?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Town Hall is down.
No changes.
So 165,260?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for that.
Mr. Russell?
I'll second.
Jude? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? I didn't hear everybody vote. All right. Motion carries. Insurance, incredibly objectionable. Oh, no.
How bad is this? 8%, is that what we heard?
Not bad.
So I just.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, we've got some changes?
Yeah, the first number, let me do that. So I got estimates from when the state of Connecticut partnership plan. And we have the same as all the state employees, and it's really not at all. So they're going up 8%. So I'd have to increase that from 620 to 650. But the school is in a self-funded consortium with Learn, Old Saybrook, and like Griswold.
Yeah.
Because that's what Holly works, that's why. So they have a self-funded plan, meaning they all participate. Ian and Holly from the school, they run this consortium for health insurance for all those entities. And you have to give them a letter of intent and have to look at your expenses and all, all your data before they'll even accept you, and even give you a price on how to come into it. So we're in the process of that, and that's very time constrained because they needed a letter from us March 1st, and we were running around. Their rates are a lot lower than ours, and they have Anthem as well. But I'm not sure what their deductibles and, somehow they've got to have something less because they're paying a lot less than us.
Well, they're assessing their risk.
Yeah, they're not paying into their reserves is what they're doing.
Right. Just so you know, it's a whole different way of, and the Board of Selectmen would have to approve going into this, it's a whole different way of doing insurance. If everyone puts in $1 million and the claims are $1.5 million, then everyone's going to participate the next year to make up for that difference,
It's self-insured.
Right,
Yeah.
so you're on the hook. It's not like we're a part of like 8,000, state employees in the fund, and they're doing all that calculation on their side. So it's a much different situation, and it might be better for us financially. And I'm not sure how, personally as health insurance, but that's in the process, so I don't know if you want to change this number or not.
It's the height, is it?
I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna ask, didn't that group like kick Clinton out or something like that a few years ago because?
They have not accepted anybody from school district to join.
Yeah, because I think.
Started, it's called Learning.
Yeah, but I think it was Clinton that was in it, and their claims rate was so high that they.
Well, they probably didn't even get in that.
Well, I think they were in it and they kicked them out.
Oh, that's, Holly said no one's
No?
been in it, everyone's been
Really?
in it.
Maybe it was a different group they were involved in then.
I think it was.
Okay.
Nicole,
Rather than.
Holly's the business manager
when do
for
we
Region
have to
2.
notify our current insurance carrier that we are renewing?
Good question.
I usually don't, I usually go out to all employees and say, tell me what you're going to plan for next year. I usually do that in May. And then we turn those all into my brokers, our brokers, like, beginning of June.
So,
So we've done it that late.
well, but then we do have some time from that standpoint. My point is that it's a big change to go from an insured plan to a self-insured plan with the possibility of additional assessment. But if there is enough savings in premium, it may be worth it. But who's
decides? For the school, like March 1st, they needed our intent
Right.
letter, then they need our census data, sent that to them for that, and then their broker is going to evaluate all our
So
history.
that's in process.
Right, so that's,
When will they give us a response?
I think that they hope to give to you by April 10th.
I'm sorry?
At the community leaders meeting, Ian said, is when he told us about it, that they were accepting new people and that they were taking account. I think that April 10th, we would know if we were in, and they would give us our rates. Our rates on the first year would be slightly higher,
Yeah.
but then they drop. And if you look at the school budget, I know meeting's coming next week.
The 15th, I think, yeah.
We're saving like $600,000 this year in health insurance.
I'm just thinking that this would be a decision for the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance to make, and I would like it to be made based on some expert advice.
Right.
That kind of explains to us what the risks and rewards are. If in fact the school district says, yeah, we can play with you guys and this is what it would cost, then we need some expert advice as to.
That's what Maria does for a living.
Maria does.
That there's a.
Yep, there you go.
But if we're not going to know until April, that's too late for the budget. So I think we have to approve money for renewing our existing insurance.
Well, it's not too late for the overall budget, right?
I think it is.
Well, I'm just thinking that normally we have a hearing.
Yeah, we'd like to.
So
No, your points are taken, yeah.
the suggestion is we do something with respect to this that we can always change if we want to.
and remember, we have to get an advertisement, and Mitchell can tell you, I think there's contract rates on her for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not like she can just put it in the week before
Well, no, I'm just looking at the budget calendar, right?
They only offer a high deductible, or do they offer offer a more traditional plan as well.
I didn't get that far.
There's different options.
There's going to be different options. We have to do some analysis once we've done this. And I've gone through this 20 years of negotiating contracts and insurance, and I think now they're consultants and customers. We can probably save some money, but we have to look at the options, we got to look at the plan, we got to make sure there's not going to be any,
The risk is not free.
And there's no guarantee that the prices are going to be any better.
Are there other municipalities participating in this program now? Are there other municipalities that they're funding?
So,
And Griswold.
Well, they
like
talk
4
to
people.
you if you're
all of whom are either 80 or pregnant.
they give us our numbers. And we can sit down and do a comparison.
Nicole made it sound like you don't get in the front door unless you're really prepared to put money on the table.
No, that's not, no.
Why don't we do as BJ suggested? And so let's assume that we're going to have to go down the path that we're on. And Nicole, you were saying that would be a figure that would be 650,000?
I did.
Okay.
Do we have any idea whether insurance is generally going up 8% or that we just get nailed for some reason? Yeah.
Historically, that's actually not that bad, honestly, if you have like the roll of the plans. How many people are on your plan?
We have about 33 full-time employees and about 29 paid sick.
So I'd have to see the plans. I'm sure there's more than one offering. That's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to see it, but
There's no, whatever income plan we're on, that's what we do.
And you don't have a whole lot of.
okay, so there's one option.
There's one option for the town.
So you could also do multiple options for the town, not just that one. And you can have a high deductible plan, or you can have, a plan, a copay plan, and you can ask people to contribute or not contribute. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can play with.
And that would be great if we had an HR person.
Yeah. No. We've talked about co-payments in the past, and we've increased them a little bit for employees. We haven't in 3 years, I don't think, but we increased them like a percentage point or whatever. Anyway, for tonight's purposes, right? So 650 is medical. Now, what about property and liability? Because we got hit huge with big increases for property and liability.
We got a lot from Kerma. It's the fixed.
So that's a good number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Workers' comp is 1.8% increase. Property and liability is 0.
So the rest of the numbers are good?
Well, those two.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we're changing is the medical increasing to 650. Is that right?
What's it again?
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the 953,000 for insurance.
So moved.
Second? Who's going to do it? Garvin and Russell. Fielder's choice.
Trying to keep it moving.
Yes, exactly.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. Great. Special deductions, Nicole, any revisions?
That was based on a salary sheet that we preliminarily did. I didn't have that whole end of this thing. I usually go back and plug the numbers in just to make sure that.
We'll push it to the end. Should we push it in?
I think the numbers are going to be good, but we can wait a while.
Well, let's pass it, and then you'll tell us if there's a material change. How about that? Yeah. Well, hopefully pass it.
I'll move it.
469,500?
Reed.
Reed. Is there a second?
Second.
Thompson? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Excellent. All right. Those on commissions. All right. Harbor management. Yep.
I think increase, added one more meeting.
Yeah. So 2938. Entertain a motion.
I'll make it. Garvin.
Garvin, second?
Me.
Okay. All those, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Great. Affordable housing. Now that,
Not actually on our list.
we're gonna,
I'm going to change that number.
yeah, we'll do it under other business.
That came from Juliana.
Yep. We'll do it under other business. It's not, there, under boards and commissions. EDC, no change.
Oh,
They had one.
not on mine either.
Doing the minutes, and now no one wants to do the minutes on the board, so clerk in there, so we're going to add 1,116 for the clerk.
Where are you?
On EDC.
New line item,
So what's the total?
4136.
413601. All right.
What did we do with these? I think he's gonna do a bunch at once, maybe.
I don't know.
Michelle's agenda
we're
has
gonna-
affordable housing on it.
Yeah.
It's, mine and Catherine's don't.
Mine
Mine
doesn't.
doesn't either.
Mine-
We'll do it,
We'll do them all.
So,
Yeah.
we'll do it under other business, just because everybody's, not to be officious, but,
I'll make a-
EDC.
I'll make a motion for the 4136 for
Thank
EDC.
you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Ethics Commission?
No changes.
Okay.
Well, we ought to think about that.
So, biggest figure of increase is advertising.
I can read you her note.
Yeah.
Jason from James Cable.
Yeah.
I'm requesting 2,000 for the ethics committee, 2,000 each for legal and legal advertising, and clerk, 94 for administrative assistant. If I'm successful recruiting an assistant and doing code revisions, the amount remaining in the current budget appropriation should be exhausted.
What's the advertising for?
Well, if they have a case,
Things like statutes.
the Maytag repairman,
Is this in the ordinance, it's an ordinance book, I think, probably.
why don't we get her in here?
It's not that big of a number.
No.
I mean, we can just reduce it, and if she needs more, we'll give it to her, or not, depending. If anyone feels strongly, I mean,
Spending pattern, I mean, it's not,
yeah, there's nothing to it.
This is ordinance, obviously, finally.
I mean, when they don't have any cases, they don't need a secretary.
Board of Finance, anyone could weigh in with a number?
You're talking about advertising?
I'm talking about just generally, yeah. 49,994 is the figure.
Yeah, we skipped that, the EDC, but.
No,
Oh,
EDC
that's
we
what
passed for
And then we're on to the Ethics Commission for the January.
We're working on it.
That's what we're on right now, is ethics, the 49,994.
It seems like a lot considering we haven't spent anything.
But are they just trying to get going? Like, has there been no activity?
It's a function of what.
That was the Jane Cable field.
Right.
What did you say for advertising, Nicole?
whatever's in there. She didn't really say what it was for.
She didn't say what it was for.
No. But I know from last year, she took it over from whoever, we didn't even have a company one.
Right.
For several years, she took it over, and she thinks that there should be changes to the ethics code
Right.
that's in our book of ordinances. So I think if you're gonna change anything, you're probably gonna have to advertise in the paper that you're gonna change something. So
But-
she thought there was a lot of legal issues, and it's not gonna be up there. Something that she said last year.
But that was last year, and she spent $600.
Yeah, is there gonna be potential, I mean, do you think there's gonna be anything done between now and June that's gonna spend any of this money?
I don't even know if they've appointed the people the way they should have.
Nicole, did you read a line saying,
Ethically?
whatever was there will be expended by the end of the year? Did I hear that in what you said, or am I,
She said,
did you read it again?
I don't see anything in our book.
Nicole was requesting $3,000 for the ethics committee budget, $2,000 for legal and legal advertising, and $1,000, I made it 94, for administrative assistance. If I'm successful recruiting an assistant and doing code revisions, the amount remaining in our current budget appropriation should be exhausted,
Right.
as well as for 22 and 23. She expects to spend this year's and all of next
Right.
year's as well.
So she only asked for 3,000 including
Yeah,
the 984?
Yeah.
No, 4,000 plus the 984.
So there's a disconnect between what you just read and
Right.
the
Right,
numbers.
it
Yep,
sounds like she's
exactly,
saying
yep.
2,000 for legal and advertising.
Right.
Like as a combined.
Not each.
She was asking for 3,984, and then
Okay.
$3,000 for the other two. Yeah,
1,500 each.
Sure.
yeah.
There we go.
No,
No, 1,000.
no.
Leave
1,000 each, and
1,000 for the
1,000,
clerk, 1,000 legal, and 1,000
right,
advertising.
and $10 for
You know, if you
miscellaneous.
have any cases, you don't need.
Correct.
Well, she
So-
needs help with something.
You got a budget for something. So we're down to $3,000?
Yeah.
$3,010.
Okay, so,
I'll move that.
wait, what?
No, we're at
what is the number, Andy?
2,994.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So wait, it's 2,994?
She's asking for 3,000.
no, there's $10 in there, though. Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. So
I said
290,
miscellaneous because
No, that's
something
good.
comes up and she doesn't have a line item.
2994 is what we're voting on. Or, all right,
Yeah,
so,
that's my motion.
all right. Is there a second?
Second to it.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Say nay. All right, motion carries. Thank you. WPCA, we dealt with.
Yeah.
Good.
Finance.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Board of Finance. The only,
You had asked me for more hours for the clerk, which I forgot to put in here. So the 2685 goes up to 2991. You had said 3,000, but I just backed into it to hours.
yep,
So the total goes up to 11,801 for the
thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the number?
11,801.
801.
Entertain a motion for the 11, I'll have to recuse
I
myself.
think we all do.
11,801. Right. The audience vote. 11,801?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Sure.
Oh,
Second,
yes.
thank you. Discussion, none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Flood and erosion,
I'll make
outrageous.
So we're going to get a lot of.
I'll make a motion for 570.
Man,
I'll second that.
the nation's address here. Okay. 570. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Historic District.
No changes.
Okay, 6,200 up from 6,000 and,
I'll make a motion.
okay, thank you.
Well, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Tree Commission.
I spoke to Joanna DiCamillo.
Yeah.
And she said everything was the same, but she wanted $200 more in case the price of trees goes up.
The price of trees?
Yeah.
She shouldn't be buying them.
That's what she said.
So 8,200 instead of 8,000?
No, isn't,
No,
it's already on there.
14,175.
It's under miscellaneous, right?
It's already in there.
Yeah.
The only
So
increase.
it's 14.
So the 14
No, oh,
is
it's not a change, I'm sorry, it's just a change over the previous year.
Oh, I got it, okay.
Yeah, sorry, Dave.
14,175?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Urban.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Fucking rec commission. $2,048.
So moved.
Are there shields that we need to buy for those guys? 2,048. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Board of Assessment Appeals.
There's no change to the 1659.
Thank you. Motion?
Urban.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 2 ayes. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries bizarrely. 2 to 0. So Rogers Lake, we pushed to 315. Land Use Department.
There's one change on page 3.
Yep.
Certified duty, they came in 11,200.
Yep. What is it? 11,200? So 276,744. 276,744. There's a lot of line items. I'll give you guys a minute to take a look and see if anyone has any questions. I did not.
No.
I do know what the increases on the legal have to do with, there's a lot more Zoom calls as well, and, the advertisement on those, I guess.
If Hall Road Improvement Committee has anything, there's going to be that.
That's why those two legal, I'm sorry, well, the advertisement, I'm sorry, I'm talking.
Yep.
And that is based on, just all the issues going on in land use, and that's really dependent on, and there's been a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of,
So the mileage seems to be way old, I mean, in excessive amount compared to use. You know, why they're counting the mileage?
well, the land use officer, I've told him to put in mileage, because he's also, he's going on site and stuff, but he won't. Land use officer might, so I don't know if you're going to make it 0, but,
Well, no, but
the other two people in land use don't, when they go to the post office and things like that, but not a lot, they're putting in any mileage and stuff like that, so.
Two 276,744 is the total. I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Reed, thank you. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Thank you. Soundview Commission, flat-ish. The only difference is breaking out events, I think, which were in other and miscellaneous. Is that right? Yeah.
Make it more clear.
Yep.
So 18715 is the number.
Okay,
I'll move it.
thank you.
I'll second.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Conservation Commission.
I'll make a motion for the 2012,
Thank you.
as long as that's a good number still.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Excellent. Open Space Commission.
Says it's moved to the March 8th meeting
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Yes.
Some of those changes in it,
Yeah.
back it up, but the ones that we categorized, things that were, so it's all of them.
Yeah.
Amanda's out of town, and I'll be meeting with Evan on Monday.
Will she be here on the 8th or no?
Not that I'm aware.
Is Evan going to present, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll find out.
You don't know whether this is a good number yet?
No. Nope. Excuse me? I was told, she told me she was, would not, but
Evan's going to be here.
Evan talked to me this morning, and I'm meeting with him on Monday.
Affordable housing, I apologize, I put it under other business. So we pushed other public safety. Affordable housing was a small number at the beginning there.
3760.
Yep, 3760.
I'll move,
Yep.
I'll move to 3760.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 3760 for affordable housing, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Okay, minutes. Yeah.
And it's being put together now, and then, you here, about 20 seconds to review it, and we have, give you copies of everything, and then it's
Got it.
That's all, just give you
Yeah. That's our wrap-up meeting. Very good. Hopefully everybody scrubbed the minutes. First set of minutes is February 1st. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion or comment?
There's just a typo on page 3, Michelle.
I have to grab it. I can't find it. So I got it. Does anyone need it, that?
I'm all set.
I have extras if anyone is missing any. Okay, sorry. Where's the typo?
Under the private beach associations listing, it should be plural. The private beach associations are as follows. See this here?
Associations, plural, and R. not hurrying folks, but does anyone need any more time to review the February 1st minutes? All right, there's any further discussion? All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of accepting February 1st, 2022 minutes as amended, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, February 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 8th.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Or
Thank you. Discussion, revisions.
I have a comment on the bottom of page 3, Parks and Rec. Under second line down, a large increase is the addition of an assistant director, and seasonal wages increased due to the minimum wage. I'd like it noted that that assistant was hired or offered the job prior to Board of Finance approval, and the position was never posted.
That was a comment that you made
At the meeting.
during the meeting?
Yes.
So can you
Note the minute.
note that with Michelle? Any other comments or revisions or more time needed?
Third page.
On page 3? Yeah,
Does that belong above or what?
I think so.
Yeah.
Michelle, where it says increase. Yeah, just fix. All right. Any other comments or revisions suggested? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of February 8, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
And Michelle, I wasn't there, so I'm abstaining.
Okay.
Excellent.
You have the next one. Yep.
February 15th, 2022. Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Thanks, Michelle.
second.
Thank you. All right, discussion, potential revisions.
A lot of guests that night.
Good job catching them all, Michelle.
Do you know everyone's name in town?
Okay, any suggested changes? More time? Anyone? All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye of approving the minutes from February 15th.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Great. Motion carries. Excellent. And you guys should have gotten a packet in the mail that has January's figures from Nicole. Thank you very much. End of January, yeah. Thanks. All right. Motion to adjourn, I'll entertain.
Move TV.
No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed, say nay. All right. Let's rush home.
Jude,
Get a lot of those.
open space on Monday?
Actually, I meant to bring it up a second ago.
That's okay.
Kevin called right before I walked out of the door.
Oh, yeah,
He-
no problem.
I don't know the other gentleman I'd like to meet with. Sure. He's going to get back to me and let me know what time on Monday.
Okay.
And he suggested 2 o'clock. I don't know if that would work for you.
I only do on Monday.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
If it works.
No, I'll call him back because he called and the person that he is coming to the meeting with, I don't know his name. It's traveling until Saturday night and he won't know. So I'll call him, leave a message. He's a friend anyway.
Okay.
Huh?
That's what happened in Iraq.
I don't know.
The cards, like,
Okay. And is it okay if we?
so they like,
So whatever it'll, I'll contact him before Greg gets back and.
Okay.
Got
Okay, that makes sense now. 2:50.
Okay.
And then I have to get my daughter off the bus at 3:30.
Okay, how about if I suggest?
no.
I could probably make 11 work.
No, tell me if it's another time because I'm flexible that
No, I'm,
That totally makes sense. Yeah, that's okay, and I can figure it out. Okay, so this is.
That's my Monday.
Okay,
Well, you can make up your own books.
10 to 10:30, noon you're off, from noon to 1.
Yeah, I'm free from
Okay.
noon to 1, yeah.
That work pretty well.
Yeah.
Little one? Yep. Okay, then I'll, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, and if that doesn't work,
You know, not closed, because
No,
I don't.
no.
Okay.
Anytime
Those are the
you
old
need to,
days.
it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Your time.
No, I'll call Evan and I'll suggest noon on Monday and I'll send you an email.
okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.